Yo, it's Pixie. Don't know how this is going to turn out. It might be really, really big. So, I did over 50 hours of this dry fast. It's going to rain like hell soon. It's going to this giant black cloud. And who knows what you'll see within the image of this video if you stare into it. So I've done over 50 hours. I did a quick calculation. Let's see, 24. It's Tuesday, so that's 48. Yeah, I'd say 50 something hours. What happened is my body started to tell me it wanted some fuel. I could have pushed it. It would pushed it to the next level. What would happen is I would have start break down protein to supplement not having enough sugars and things. Right, just wait for this car. Yeah, so that's what would happen. Is basically my sugars will start to be created from breaking down of protein, which wouldn't be much fun. And I'm not looking to lose muscle mass. However, I'm going to repeat the cycle. Just go for it. So it'd be like having one meal every 2 days. I mean, that's a kind of strange pattern. And if you tell people that, they go, what? And you don't drink either for 2 days? What? I mean, I drunk loads. Well, yeah, I drank about a litre of fluid, and also the weather's quite wet as well. And I think my skin's absorbing a lot of moisture around me. Like today, it's a bit of a wet and wild evening, really. And so my body's adapted. And it was interesting. Some people said your skin looks paler. So it could be it's drawing to the core more, or it's drawing in the fluids differently. It could be the white cells more active in the body. So it could be the reboot of the immune system. It could be a lot of other things going on there for a colour change, looking more paler. Maybe it's just the natural skin. That's what the skin looks like. It doesn't be damaged by UVs. Yeah, there goes a bit of a different change. So there's some other interesting things as well I've come across today. I was meditating and I went and visited a DJinn actually, and she was sleeping, so I sat next to her. She had big eyes, like a bit like a grey really, like a hybrid. She was a bit of a bluish sort of colour. And she could sense my presence and thoughts anyway. She disturbed her, but she wasn't like worried or anything. I just said I appreciate you. And so I don't know, there's a connection, but she said the Saradoon, the bloodline of this particular is the Saradoons, which is quite interesting. But they can't yield under power. There's something about commanding Jinn, and that won't really work. It may do at some level. You can summon them. And there was something about, I was looking at these giant rubies on eBay, and what you can do is you can with a stone, you can channel in an entity into the stone. It's a bit of a dark magic really, but of kind. They sometimes call them soul crystals and things like that. It's not really too weird really. It's a bit like items can contain the energy of people, and you can pick up on it. Psychic can pick up on it, but it can act as a sort of connection between the person. And if you release an entity, a spirit, from a stone, it's best to do it at a good time, at a good times roll. And the good time would be at night, really, even at night. Sometimes there's twilight times, so a bit different as well. You might get fairy stuff going on. So it's just between, because I think they're just between these realms. So 4 in the morning tends to be what they call like the phantom realm or something. It's the darkness, there's no veil, but with sort of like 5 in the morning or something like that. But just before it gets the dawn comes up, and also just as the sun's setting, it can be a sort of time when there's a bit more connection between the different dimensions. It's just different phases of light, I guess. So there might be the time where people see unusual things. So just as everything's changing tonight. And then there's times where things come across and they get kind of trapped until the cycle is complete, and then they go back across. And then there's other things that don't seem to be affected at all. They just bounce to and fro if they want to go through different dimensions. You get these things like the skinwalkers and stuff like that. If you do a bit of study of that kind of thing. It's strange. I think the Jinn presence is with me at the moment, actually. Kind of sense it in your own consciousness. It sounds a little different. Even my voice seems to be a bit different as well. So yeah, and the other thing about the OMAD stuff, going back to I'm tuning back into myself, is I've just started putting a little book together. Actually, I may work on it. I just chucked it on Amazon. It's I call it Fasting to Go Faster, or To Get Faster. I don't know which title I put out there actually. But you do get lighter on your feet, and as you go along, it improves. There's lots of, there's no. It varies for people. It's not a clear cut like, oh yeah, well this method works all the time. What happens is as your body adapts, you adapt your fasting methods, and you accept each kind of phase of becoming a different person. If you want to get a bit more interdimensional, it's probably quite true, because your body's changing, the chemistry's changing, the influences on your organs are changing. You're less likely to be affected in the same way by stuff. Maybe your tolerances are changing, the parasites. And they say sometimes parasites are used to channel darker entities as well. Demonic entities. Because they both feed off things like that. Decay and stuff. They kind of play a role, it's just the way that things are in this universe. And there's also kind of emotions, I guess, that are considered quite stale. But they're not out to get anyone. There's a kind of misconception about that. Fear of the unknown. If we can't control them, we must fear them. And if they don't work for us and they work for angels, or they do some other job, then we're threatened by that energy alliance. I mean, this is why there's a big separation between the realms. It's because there's an issue around consciousness between different beings, and then you've got beings that have come across different realms trying to act as negotiators, peacekeepers, and all sorts of bridges and ambassadors to different things. So it's very interesting. See, one of the weaknesses in the past, we'll go to sort of like the spiritual stuff, is that when I was a child, there was an entity that kept visiting me and giving me nightmares and so on. It was using its energy to make that connection. I guess it wanted me to fear it, or it assumed that that's the best way to access me, or some way open my mind up to it. As a result, that's created a bridge, because I have a memory of that event, and I'm able to go back to that time, sense it, and then feed on it. So I don't know what it thought it was doing. It must have been aware of that. But if I got to a certain stage, I could connect with it. and that's why I knew it was asleep in some sort of cave. It was like underground, and the stones were kind of glowing wherever it was. So they have kind of patterns like humans. He had wiry hair. His eyes were bigger than normal, and maybe like an imp-like in some ways. Thin nose. Did it have clothes on? Not really. A bit like a tribal thing, really, it was wearing. But it can change its form anyway, so it needed some kind of warmth down there. And where do they dream? Where do they go when they dream? That's the question. Another entity. And then also it makes you question if the afterlife is a type of life. Do spirits dream and other things? What happens in this realm? I think things go dormant because you can't always be active. I mean, we don't always know what happens when we go to sleep. Sometimes we go to sleep and we dream of stuff and we recall it all. Other times we don't have any memory, but we feel quite refreshed. So there may be times where we have to go through a cycle of basically being dormant. And that might be to do with consciousness. A consciousness wave. So even though you have you're a droplet of this kind of God particle, and you bear this consciousness, and we're all related in some way. We're all connected to the mind of God. We can't all be active. It's just probably just such a vast amount of the universe to control. So I think ideally that's why we're growing in our own consciousness. We can basically be our own servers, universal servers. I say we're our own universe. Maybe there isn't any limit to it. There's two things that does happen though. As your consciousness grows forward, it also grows backwards as well. So you're more aware of your creator, so you go further back in time. Which, it's all mind-blowing stuff really. It's a ripple effect. Or maybe we are the Big Bangs, We're creating this different reality. That's it, that's good. Checking the gears alright. Looks different actually, little red face I've got. So, but I feel look a bit thin around here. This takes a while to change. But it's improving. I imagine cycles where I'm just not eating. It's just other people can't do that at all. They just won't understand. And if that's a lifestyle choice, and I do really well, I'm not losing loads of weight. I think that getting it right is you don't lose a lot of weight, because then you can sort of, as your weight drops, you can actually adapt it to just get it just right. And some other tips I put. There's a lot of things say about at the end of the fast, do some. So I draw upon my other resources. So one of my other spiritual side thinks of this. So it's with the end of the fast, where your resources are lower, you can do that, and then you'll peak your hormones balance. And this should be done in the morning, as it's saying, because male hormones are higher or something than men. And what about women? They're actually more stronger at night. So there's an interesting thing. Yeah, women's bodies become more flexible, or something like that. So they're more resilient to stretching and stuff. The muscle types are a bit different. Yeah. This is why men are more likely to get cramped in their backs and things. And also, I know this is what I learned, is that after I've eaten. So I've eaten. So I broke my fast, and it's almost like a little whisper in the mind. It's very interesting, and it's such a level. I can't really hear it. It's like going into my brain, but I'm aware of it. Very odd. Anyway, which probably sounds a bit freaky to people, but if you switch something on and off, it's not like it's sort of there as kind of disorder or something, and it's more a case of hacking your own mind and understanding deeper realms of reality and consciousness, and trying to create a stable framework around it. Where people don't have a stable framework, they can be spiritual but unbalanced. Okay, so it's telling me about that sort of stuff. And after I've eaten, my body's getting flooded with different resources. I might not have been happy entirely with my food choice. At the time I felt, oh, that's really nice. I mean, like today, the body said, look, you're just hungry, come on, you've got to eat. And I felt like, well, we're going to use our resources. And I felt kind of like a cramping up in the stomach. It felt pulled right in. And you feel like a suction anyway, but it felt like a suction towards the organ, like the liver. So the liver probably, I went, right, we've got to do something here. And so I went off and I got some there's these things like these German, that are like burgers, but they're sausage meat. They're quite nice. They're a bit like meatballs, you know, that kind of texture to them, but they're just a giant flat patty, I guess that's what they would be called. And so I got a few of them. I cooked up a load actually. I must have had 5, but I didn't eat them all. I ate the first one. They're already cooked anyway, so you can eat them hot or cold. So I ate the first one. What did I eat? I ate a few Mars bars. That was the way to break my thing, because I went to the shop and bought some food. And there's other things about weightlifters, and if you're planning to build your muscles need the glycogen. You can drain the resources while you're fasting, but you want to put the energy into the muscles, because the muscles may cramp up and have fatigue. You may cause some damage to you, basically. You know, in the same way that fats act as padding to your body, and there's a cop car right next to me. It's like, who's he talking to? He's talking about a phone. I better put this. It's the only one's going to rain up now. And so yeah, you need the glycerol in your muscles. There's a purpose for it there, more than just a sort of energy storage. Is for the muscle as well. And as it releases, it also releases water and stuff that keeps your muscles from suffering too much fatigue. Because you get mixed advice. You say, well, we want to damage your muscles to make them stronger, but you also want to damage to be a kind of you want it sort of light. You don't want it sort of so severe you can't use your muscles, or something bizarre, or you tear your tendon or something. And so yeah, so that's important. To get that in there. And so yeah, just as you've broken let's say, once you've eaten, you're not too happy, maybe your food choice, or you're unhappy, you feel like you had a lot of protein, other things your body was gagging for, you can always go and do some exercise. So what I did, I just lifted some weights for a bit, just sort of tested them. But it's also get the muscles. The muscles have a metabolism as well, so I've encouraged them to start feeding off nutrients from my body. So I kind of put them on the list of needing repair or something, because I've started using them. I obviously did nothing with my body. It would just cover the core essentials and then just refill up the energy to the muscles. So that's how that works. So it depends on your body and what you're doing with it. I can slim down my muscles if I want to, and I drop my trouser sizes and all sorts of things, just by basically pushing it, doing 3-day fasts. I'd have to see. It's like new territory, and I think it's new territory for a lot of people. They haven't really seen how far they can go or their limits. I mean, basically other people couldn't relate to it unless they have a background or interest in fasting. A lot of people will be quite sceptical. The only way to really know it is just give it a go yourself. That's the only way you can get an appreciation for your efforts, really. So definitely. What else was I saying about? Oh yeah, saying about this ruby. It's about the size of my fist. There's a ruby. I was just checking out ones like from Thailand and India, and then I can do a bit of witchcraft or whatever I like, whatever craft, soul craft. it does border into elemental magic. It's just higher levels really. Lower levels is the physics of things like fire, water, ice, elements, them kind of elements, and then you go into mental ones as well, like emotions. Like if you had a sword, you could channel an emotion in the sword, and then if you use that weapon, you would have that feeling of peace. Maybe you need to be relaxed and tranquil when you're using it. Maybe you need to be really focused, like a fire, like a rage. So it increases strength when you're using it. It's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons world, or whatever. Maybe you've. This is why people do forms. Actually, this is the other thing. See all this knowledge I'm tapping into. People do forms so that they can put. They don't just have muscle memory. They have like a psychic consciousness. So weapons that have been in the family for generations have a resonance with certain martial arts and stuff. That's why some are not suited for other people to use, or you should just pick up things and without gaining some permission. I mean, there's something to the ancestors would you're into ancestor worship, allow you to have access or knowledge too. Because there's always it's just a forgotten hierarchy really. Or the importance of your ancestors and what they connect to. Some of the skills you're born with. You pick up a paintbrush, or you start playing around with a musical instrument and you seem to get it really quickly. It's in that. It's not just in your genetics. It's that kind of vibration that you share with other entities or ones that were related or a part of you and still are. Some consciousness. Their fragment of themselves is actually inside of you. Or inside your universe. You just got to tap into that energy. So I guess really everything's moving in the direction it should do. So it's all growing. Deeper in consciousness, OMAD. I think consciousness of people are reaching out. You're bound to get a backlash. You're bound to get people paid to say, oh, this stuff was bad for your health, it'll do this for you, it'll do that for you, it'll give you arthritis, it'll give you dementia and stuff like that, it'll give you cancer. But actually you're clearing out some of all that, the nasties, by trying to become self-sufficient. And I guess spiritually at a level, when you, as an entity, as you evolve beyond your flesh and blood, at some point your consciousness won't be feeding off the outside world in the same way. It will be projecting, like this. It's already happened anyway. People have this ability, synchronicities, willing things. They say law of attraction. There's a few different arts of the law of attraction. You can put things back in time, and then they can come to fruition in a modern era. It depends what you believe in, what you feel, what you're connected to, whether you'll have generations of this secret knowledge tapped away. I mean, I don't know, it's very strange for me. I mean, my dad still now tries to dabble with magic, but he doesn't have the consciousness to handle it. I think it's overwhelming. But as his son, I'm able to make more sense of his universe basically, and at least spend time researching it. Some things are not true. Some things are out there to mislead us. Just have to find out what they are really. There's plenty of stuff that's just, it's not quite right. Yeah, stuff like angel worship and stuff. Oh, it's okay to follow angels, but there's seems to be a whole load of stuff that people ain't tuning into that are out there than they did in the past. but I think they heavily misused their gifts. And stuff was looking at abundance and wealth. I was trying to explain to my dad about it as well. He's interested in figures and making money and stuff, but I said there's different forms of abundance to wealth. So like if I own lots of gemstones and stuff, they've got an intrinsic value, they remain that, have that value. They also are the representation, the physical representation of wealth. They're not transmuted into the magic realm of chaos magic, which is paper and other things. You can add values to them. And as long as people believe the same values, I mean, you can do it with rubies. I mean, it's not going to be suddenly a massive abundance of rubies that come out of the ground. They tend to keep the same value though, because of the size of them. A bit like gold and stuff like that. So it could be that you want to invest in something in the future. I don't know. Imagine it'd be like Aladdin's cave. I'd have a place. I'd be an old man, and the world's gone to pot. It'd be full of gemstones and stuff. Who knows? That'd be quite strange, wouldn't it? Anyway, this is Pixie sign off, and speak to you soon.